Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, John. How are you? I'm just doing a little tidy up here in the morning.
Oh, great.
Figured I'd patch in.
Sorry, who is it? What's your
It's
name?
Hussein.
What's your name?
Hussein.
Hussein. How you doing, Hussein?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Awesome, sir. Awesome. Awesome. Josie, how are you, love?
Hello, good morning. I just woke up, but I set my alarm so I could join you.
Oh, wow. So cool. It's early over there for you.
It is a little earlier. I've been sleeping in a little longer these days.
Yeah, it's a little, I mean, it's 11 o'clock here, so.
It just hit 9 for
We've
us.
had a little bit of time. We've had a little bit of time to get ourselves going. We're just getting ourselves going for the day. Just starting ourselves off, just getting ourselves going in the very best way.
Yes. Wonderful.
Awesome, Hussein. Have you got some goals that you've got for the new year?
You know what? It's really to take you up on your generous offering. I think you bring so much generosity, every day just delivering so much, I guess, insight and inspiration. And I'm hoping I can build some integrity and some new routines and some new patterns that can serve my greater good. That's what I'm here for.
Wow, I love that, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. I love it. Amazing. Yeah, finding our inner joy, finding our inner peace, finding our inner love.
You got it.
Finding out what's really true to us, what's most important to us, what we love.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Right, that's it. It's to try and connect to this. So, in order to connect to, our inner self, in order to connect to what we love the most, in order to connect to our inner passion, our inner joy, we've got to start kind of talking to ourselves a little bit.
For sure. Because I think the thoughts, they take over, and we lose control of that dialogue, I guess.
This is exactly it, sir. And we get into bad habits with our dialogue and old habits with our dialogue.
For sure.
And if we want to create something new, we've got to create a new dialogue. We got to start thinking and speaking to ourselves differently. We need to be our own best friends sometimes.
For sure.
Sometimes we just have to take a moment to really be gentle and kind to ourselves in the way that we speak.
Wow. Yeah.
You resonate with that one, Josie?
Yeah.
Just speaking nicely to ourselves.
I think that some of us get very goal-oriented, which is a blessing, but you have to remember to offer yourself the same grace and kindness that you offer those around you so easily. And that's something that I'm certainly working towards right now, a balance between achieving what I'm working towards, which is big, but also accepting what I have and where I'm at and what's meant to come to me. Balance between seeking and accepting.
That's lovely because we all want to kind of have something more than what we do. We all want to grow. We all want to expand. We all want to heal something. We all want to change something about ourselves, whether it's weight loss or more money or a better job or a different job or a different type of relationship or a different amount of love in my relationship or my relationships. It's still a goal. We're all striving for something more. It's a goal, right? And then we're where we are, but we want to be at the goal. So there's a dissonance, a discomfort between where we are and where we want to go, where we want to be. And this is everybody's dissonance. You're not alone, right? It's that we sometimes think that we're all alone and it never comes for us. And that's what we say. That's the thoughts and words we start to say. Poor me, I'm all alone and nobody else, and they seem to have it. We think that they have it over there. It looks like they have it over there. It looks like they got everything together over there. Why don't I have everything together? Why am I such a mess? Why is everything so wrong for me? What? These are questions. If you start asking yourself these questions, then you're working on the wrong answers. This is the dialogue we get into. Poor me, poor me. I'm a victim of my health, of my wealth, of my relationships. I'm a victim. We get into a victim mentality. And it's hard to not be a victim when you've got pain in your body. It's hard to not be a victim when you haven't got enough money, you're struggling. It's hard to not be a victim when we've got more body weight on us than we want to have. But it's always to shift the perspective.
Yeah, if I may, I've been doing a lot of work around that. And I've noticed that when I go into that mode, that I'm viewing a lot of these things as external things that are happening to me, things that are happening to me, rather than inside of me. And realizing that everything that occurs in our life, whether it's energetically or physically, is actually happening inside of us, which puts us in the driver's seat. It can be scary to accept that level of accountability, especially without beating yourself up. But whenever you accept that everything that's happening to us is actually happening inside of us, then it's easier to shift out of that victim mindset and into that creator mindset, so that we can say, you know what, this pain inside of my body, this pain inside of my heart, this pain around me, maybe even, if I created this, then I can create something new. And then stepping into that power is hard sometimes, but I think definitely what you inspire us to do.
That's a radical responsibility. It's taking full responsibility, right?
Yeah, for the good and the bad, the good and the bad.
Right, I am the creator. I created this, even if it's a mess. And then to say, oh my gosh, I accept it.
And love it.
First acceptance, maybe.
Yeah, it's hard.
First, just accepting it as it is first. Before we can even love it, we got to accept it. And maybe then there's going to have to be some forgiveness there too, like forgiving yourself or forgiving somebody else. And then we can start to move into like really embracing it, loving it. Yes, that's where we have to go. Yes, and you're so exactly right. It's about going inside and healing it inside of ourselves. is what we're talking about. We're talking about building an internal world. We're talking about growing an inside energy, an internal flame, a fire within, right? We're talking about building up our own internal energy, how to do it. And it really comes down to, you know, whatever we focus on grows. So if we begin to focus on that, then we can begin to grow that, rather than focusing on what we don't have and what's missing and what's wrong, because then we're growing that. Right? It's not easy because we've learned to focus externally. So to unlearn that and learn something new, which requires you to sit still and pay attention within, in silence, in stillness. And that's hard mental work to do.
Daily practice, moment to moment, even.
Moment to moment practice.
Yeah.
One breath at a time. Come to the foundation. Come to the moment. In each moment, there is power. In each moment, there is opportunity. In each moment, you get to choose again. Are you going to choose to judge yourself externally? Or are you going to choose an internal reference point here and now? In this moment, which choice do you make? Do you choose the internal fire? And do you choose to build your internal fire with words that build fire? I am power. I am awesome. I am beautiful. I am well. I am healthy. I am strong. I am courageous. Right? These are the words that anchor us. These are the intentions. These are the intentions that anchor us. We have to come to these
ideas don't necessarily, they don't feel like they have root in anything other than just, sure, it's a vibration, but it feels inauthentic maybe. Maybe your life doesn't line up to those ideals.
Right, that's a great one. That's a great one, Hussein. That's it. And that's it, is it's to sit with those affirmations and see where you feel like you don't line up. So if you say an affirmation and you say, well, that's not true for me,
Right.
then your mind starts doing that. Well, that's just lying. Well, it begins this way. It begins with, I am powerful, and then feeling the resistance to that. And then saying it again, I am powerful, feeling the resistance to that, then I need to do some work there. So the work happens inside the imagination. The work happens within the self. There has to be a way to grow these affirmations inside of us. And there is. It's our feminine mind, it's our imagination, it's our creativity. It's our ability to create within or without. It's our creative energy. And with our creative energy, we can create anything that we focus on. So if you want to focus on, I am powerful, just imagine that inside of you. Like sit with your imagination for a second. I am powerful. Not the resistance now. I'm not going to focus on the resistance. I'm just going to focus on the intention and try to grow the intention in your imagination. I mean, how to be powerful within. Who knows? You have to imagine it first. Okay? Let's try and imagine being powerful. Let's try to imagine being healthy. Let's imagine pain-free. Let's imagine wealth growing inside. Let's imagine love growing inside. Let's grow it in our heart chakra. Let's lift it up and allow it to come up. Let's invite it up. Let's speak to it. Let's ask whatever is resistant to come up. The thoughts, the words that are resistant to come up. Let's ask for it to come up. Let's call it up. Not push it down, not hide it away. A part of me that I don't like, that isn't true, that's resistant to my authentic truth that I am the creator, that I am the power,
Yes.
that I have management over my health. If there's a resistance there, that is a learned resistance. Because initially we never had that resistance. We never had that doubt. We learned that doubt from stepping in some doo-doo. Right? We all stepped in some doo-doo. Anyone over 30, right? 35, right? You must have stepped in some doo-doo and got it between your toes, right? And we gotta get that out. It's stuck in us, on us. It's got thoughts and words and emotions that have to be removed. So we gotta listen to the thoughts and speak to them and say, hey, I hear that old silly thought, and you know what? I understand where you came from. Oh yeah, I remember where I collected you. I understand, but you know what? That was really a silly decision that I made at that time, that I started to think and say that, and that's not really true anymore. And I let you go now. And that's okay.
Changing the dialogue.
I love you. Just speaking nicely to yourself. I'm just speaking nicely to myself. I'm just speaking nicely to you, just a friend, the same way I would speak nicely to myself. If I have a pain or a problem inside of me, a resistance, a blockage inside of me, if something is standing in my way, I would speak nicely to it. If someone was standing in your way, would you speak nicely to them to move? Would you ask them nicely to move? Just ask it nicely to move. Ask it what you need to know. Ask it what you need to learn. Ask it what you need to change. Commit to changing. Commit. Make a decision. Decide. Commit. Right? Speak it out. Share it with somebody else. Make yourself accountable. Talk about it. Put it out there. Paula, good morning. Tiffany, good morning.
Morning.
How are you doing today?
I am great. Thank you.
I love it that you joined in today. Is there anything that you would like to share or say?
Not much to say today, John. Just here to take it in, and that's it.
And that's wonderful too. That's wonderful too. Paula, did you want to say anything?
Well, thank you for having this practice. I think it's like a lot of this stuff, depending on our backgrounds and just our life experience, we kind of know, but it kind of like, you know, how they say yoga, it's a practice in that like you get exposed to it and stuff, but you never get to lock it all in. So you have to continue the practice. So I think it's this kind of work is really helpful in, you know, that constant reminder, you know, that, and as our day goes on and whatever happens throughout the day, good stuff, bad stuff, and, you know, our thoughts and reactions surrounding everything from like health to, you know, how we self-regulate and all that stuff. But like remembering and knowing that, you know, we're beyond all that we see and think. And if we tap into that throughout our day, we're better able to manage, whether it be at work or making healthy choices in our lives or, you know, anything. It's just helpful to kind of tap into really who we are.
It's coming back to the truth, right?
Yeah, because it's easy to slip away from it, and sometimes you don't even know you are until it's kind of not so great. And even when it is great, you might still, you know, be out of it. But if you kind of keep tapped into your, you know, your the truth of you and your source, then it's always a really good compass to navigate through your day.
It sounds like you're talking about kind of centering yourself at different points throughout your day. Josie mentioned the moment. Centering yourself in each moment ultimately is where we want to be, is if we could be present all of the time. If we could be in that awareness of the power.
It's funny you guys were talking. Yeah, and when you were talking about, you know, the things that you are saying a lot and thinking about a lot, and the ability to change because we are a product of, you know, the net amount of what's going on inside of us, you know, and you can easily look at your own life there and see kind of areas where you might have a bit of struggle, be it with your children or other relationships or work or food or whatever. And then maybe at that point you can think, oh, well, actually, I've been either thinking or saying or being around other people that kind of reinforce that kind of negative pattern. And so it gives you that power to be able to, you know, sit in a different seat and posture yourself differently to get a different, you know, experience in life.
So the kind of dialogue that you're having with the people around you really matter.
Yeah, it's like you don't really, so I guess I didn't really think until recently like that it was this powerful, but it really is. You know, you think you're just talking with your friend or whatever, but you know, what you decide to focus and think and chat and discuss about, and it's, you know, it's normal as human nature to talk about problems and whatnot, but maybe like, you know, if those problems keep showing up and keep showing up, we keep those thoughts and conversations going, maybe a better way would be, you know, to just monitor, like just be aware of it, and then you can, you know, consciously decide to think of a solution based, or just even if you changed your thoughts or conversations, how that might have an effect, you know, ongoing.
That is awesome. It's really to shift the things we're thinking and speaking about from the problem to where we want to go. Stop talking about the problem. Let's talk about what the solution would be. Like, how would you like to look? How would you like to feel? How would you like your day to be? How would you like your energy to be? How would you like your future to be? How would you like your wealth to be? Not how it is, not talking about how it is. Let's talk about how we want it to be.
Totally.
That's a change of perspective. That's just a different dialogue that you have inside of yourself, with yourself. Just speaking to yourself nicely. I like to start the day in the very best way. We talked a little bit about the moment there. We talked about being present. We talked about checking in frequently throughout the day. I like to tell people that we're talking about coming to the foundation of what really makes us joy, what really makes us happy. It's what we're thinking about right now that creates the feelings that we get next. What you're thinking about right now is what's going to create the feelings that you get next. If you start thinking right now about your favorite holiday, you're going to start feeling some feelings inside of yourself. So your thinker, your intender, your masculine mind can think about something that can spark a feeling inside of you. It's a power that we have. We can intend something, and then we can imagine it coming into reality, or remember it, or something that isn't even here yet. You can imagine a holiday that you've never even had. Just imagine yourself in Hawaii next December. Imagine yourself in Hawaii. So we can cultivate a feeling from what we think about. And if we can manage our thoughts in each moment, then we can control our energy throughout our day. We can control the way we feel throughout our day. Right? So we want to learn what the foundations are for staying present all the time, or more often. If we could just be a little bit more present than we currently are. How to be more present. How to be in my best space more often. These are things you want to ask yourself. But because I have asked myself, let me share with you what I have learned. Right? What I've learned is that at the root, at the foundation of us, without food, you could last 1 or 2 years. Without water, you could last 1 or 2 weeks. But without air, you can't last 1 or 2 minutes. That this is the foundation of us. That the air is the foundation of us all. It is the physical foundation. And it's to come to be with the air. To be present of the air.
And how fitting that, in the time that we're in right now, that the major health crisis is at least projected upon the human race has to do with our breath, like COVID being a respiratory disease. And here we are in this reality where, we're wearing masks and so much is being done to inhibit our breathing, and that's why perhaps it's so important that we bring so much of our full attention into how we breathe and make sure we, reclaim that sovereignty, so to speak, there with our health.
That's my check-in time with my body, with my mind, is my breath. When I start to lose control of that observer position over my thoughts, when you have to get out of your head, you kind of have to get back into your body sometimes. And so breath is the quickest way for me to do that, to kind of roll call my energetic body and where my thoughts are coming from. Just that simple breath, holding the breath at the top, extending the breath a little bit longer, just becoming aware of that breath, even becoming aware is a huge check-in point for me personally.
Wonderful.
Right. During the day, when things happen to us, we start to shallow breathe or
Yeah.
hold the breath. This is what we do, and we could go sometimes many hours like that before we feel the discomfort of it, before we feel the change that's had on our physiology, holding our breath or shallow breathe for a long period of time. That's changing our body's pH.
I think sometimes the awkwardness of kind of, deep breathing, it feels like it's become oddly unnatural. Like it feels more natural to just kind of coast through your day. I'm an asthmatic, and so, I start to feel short of breath, and yeah, like the best thing that stabilizes me is deep breathing. Yet in the morning, when my wife will say, you want to come downstairs and do some breathing exercises with me, for whatever reason I say no just about every morning, even though I know I should, because I start panicking in the morning as I start trying to draw full breaths, and when they don't come easily,
which is common.
Our
yeah,
body forgets. Our
right.
body forgets. We get our muscles get so used to not expanding. I still can't belly breathe. I'm working on it. I've been working with John for a long time on this. And I mean, I can barely extend my abdomen. And it's a very unnatural and uncomfortable feeling every time I have to force myself to do it. Every time. I think this doesn't feel normal.
And toxicity, physical toxicity is in there as well too. So it is a physical thing, like muscularly. It is a physical thing, like there's toxicity in that area. And it's also a mental thing. And there's fear and emotion trapped in there as well too. There's a lot of emotional stuff. There's toxicity. There's thoughts. There's resistance. That's all blocking. But all of it can be removed. The physical toxicity can be removed. The thoughts and words can be removed, and the emotional stuff can be removed. And Hussein, if you don't want to do it with your wife every single morning that she goes, that's really normal too. And sometimes when we're trying to heal, we don't want to be around anybody else. And don't feel bad if you don't want to be around somebody else. And it doesn't make you bad if you don't want to go.
Yeah, because then I actually wake up into a feeling of guilt, which then
Don't do that.
or something.
Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that. It's okay if you don't want to do it with your partner.
Right.
It's okay if you want to do it by yourself.
Right.
It's okay if you want to do it with us.
Yep.
Don't worry about where the other person is. Really, it's time to take stock of me.
And bless her, because she never makes me feel that way. It's never like there's never like any residue down. So she's like, whatever guilt that arises is just it's myself creating
It's an internal experience. It's
Yeah.
not coming from your partner. It's coming
Right.
from inside of yourself,
Right.
which
Your
means you
own
can shut it off.
Right.
Your own self-talk, the way that you're speaking to yourself.
Mhm.
The way that you're speaking to yourself. So we can start our day by speaking to ourselves nicely.
Yeah.
We can get up in the day, we can get our bodies moving. We can start moving our bodies. And we can start speaking nicely to ourselves. The thing about movement is it gets the heart pumping and it gets the body circulating blood and circulating fluids. And it also triggers the nervous system, so it's exciting for the body. So it gets the body breathing as well too. So I'm just moving, just making a little bit of side to side motion. Let's just get started with a little bit of movement, because movement gets the body breathing, right? And movement is what we do. We move all day long. We move from here to there all day long. Movement's what we're about. Humans are about moving. So we just need to move. And we need to breathe. And we need to become conscious of what we're thinking and saying to ourselves right now. Because what I'm thinking and saying to myself right now is controlling how I feel. So I need to be aware, cognizant, aware of my thoughts and words that I have going on inside of my head. And I just start my own thoughts and words. I just have my own track. You know, it's the beginning of the day. I want to start my day in my very best way. I want to start thinking and speaking nicely to myself. I want to take back control of myself, of my energy, of my emotional being. I do that by changing the things that I think and say, by changing the ideas that I hold in my mind, the visions that I'm holding in my mind. Well, the visions, where are those visions anyways? They're in our imagination. It's in our imagination that we grow all vision. We get all clarity. We get clarity of who we are and who we want to be. It's in our imagination that this happens. Right? So just moving my body, just starting my body up. And then I'm just going to come to the foundation, which is the breath. The movement starts me breathing. And then I can become aware of the breathing. Starting to take some breaths. As my body starts to warm up, it's going to start to take a deeper breath. It's going to start to want a deeper breath. As the body temperature picks up, as the body starts to warm up, just a little bit of active breathing. Doesn't matter what you're doing. It's not so much what you do, it's what you're thinking about while you're doing it, right? This is just a Tai Chi motion, a forward and backward motion. This is an ancient motion. It's thousands of years old, right? Just warming up my body with some movement that's always been here and just letting my breaths happen. Combining movement with breath, pranayama. Combining movement with breath. Settling into the breath, just staying with the breath and the movement. Breathe at your own pace, move at your own pace. It doesn't have to be my pace, it's free, it's yours. Inhale and exhale. Just actively breathing. Inhale and exhale. Flexion and extension, two key motions that the body's capable of doing. Bending and extending. Two key motions that the body's capable of doing. Just bending. Exhale, I'm narrowing my body, making myself small, bending down. Standing up tall, making myself big and tall, extending. Inhale. Coming down, exhale. Working on full inhales, full exhales. Right up and right down. Pranayama, movement and breath. Centering yourself in your breath, in the present, in the here, in the now with your breath. Just moving and breathing. Nice deep breaths. So we get short of breath. We start holding our breath during our day. We lose consciousness of our breath during our day. And what we really need to do is to come back to the breath, to center ourselves in the here and now, and become conscious of what we're thinking about and saying to ourselves right here, right now. And we can change what we say to ourselves. We can begin to say nice things to ourselves. I want to shift my body from sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, into parasympathetic nervous system. That's a slow, deep breath that allows me to enter into my parasympathetic nervous system. I want to work on nice, slow, deep breaths. I want to try to deepen my breath. I want to try to have a practice that deepens my breath, that allows me to take a bigger inhale and a bigger exhale. So I want to try to practice inhaling fully and exhaling fully. My deepest inhale and my deepest exhale. Now this involves the core muscles, the pelvic floor, right? Connecting to the pelvic floor with a nice full inhale. And a complete exhale. Locking into the bundas or the lower abdominals, the pelvic floor. Inhale fully, exhale fully. Lock into the bottom of your tummy, your lowest core muscles, your diaphragm. Right down to the bottom. Full exhale, full inhale. Take your biggest inhale. Take as much oxygen in as you can. And a full exhale. Full inhale. Extension. Full exhale. Flexion. Active breathing, moving and breathing. Full inhale. Full exhale. Warming up the body, working on the full breath. We want to try to extend our breath with deeper breaths while we practice fully inhaling and fully exhaling. This is how we deepen the breath. We got to re-strengthen those core muscles. We need to reconnect to the root. Yawning happens when we're starving for oxygen, right? So there's some feeling right now that the body wants probably more. It's loving it, probably. Many things can happen when we start breathing. Emotionally, thoughts, words, feelings, different things can happen. Don't get alarmed. Don't worry if something strange, abnormal happens. It's okay. Take a little time out. Rest anytime. The next thing that I want to do with the breath and working with the full inhale and the full exhale is I want to try a little bit of breath holding. Right? So I want to try to breathe in fully and hold. And breathe out fully and hold. In fully and hold. And out fully and hold. Angry?
It feels like you, feels tough to do.
Tough work.
That's weird.
Just to get a full breath.
Well, you have to get a deep breath and hold it, and then once you get 2 of them, it's almost, you're out of breath.
You're out of breath. No, it gets you kind of panting.
It does.
It kind of gets you breathing beyond control. Out of control breath. It's like I'm not under control anymore. And that's right, we're kind of breaking the ego control. We want to let go of the control that has us. We're letting go of that control. We're breaking through, and we can feel a little bit anxious. We can feel nervous. We can feel emotional stuff can happen. No problem if any of that happens. Don't worry about it. Let's now add some balance and strength here. I'm going to work on my lunge. Got my hands behind my head and I'm working on my, let's try 10 or 15 lunges there. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Being conscious of my moving and my breathing. And if 10 is enough, if 5 is enough, if 15 is enough, don't worry about what it is. You're not good or bad because of the number. Don't worry about that. It's to be here and now, accepting this right now. This is awesome. You are awesome. You are exercising. See the power that you have. Become aware of your own strength and your own power. You're doing this. You're centering yourself in your breath and your movement. You're doing it yourself. You have this power. It's creating belief in yourself. You don't need anything else. You don't need anyone else. It's you. Take full responsibility. Working through those legs, getting the heart pumping, getting the body moving, getting the body hot, getting the body breathing, speaking nicely to myself. I am the creator. I am the power in my life. I am in charge of my life. I am changing my life. I am becoming healthy. I am wealthy. Thinking and saying the things that we truly want. Not talking about what's going on, not talking about the problems, thinking and talking about what we want. I want to have a super day. I want to have a terrific day today. I want to feel terrific today. I want to have high energy today. I want to get excited about today. I want to get excited about tonight. Something awesome is going to happen to me today. Something awesome's coming. Getting excited about it. Let's jump those legs in and back. Let's try. We can walk those in. We can walk them back. We can use a box if you like. If you want to use a box, Jim, you could use a box. That could be helpful if you need it. We're going to jump those legs in and back. We're going to walk those legs in and back. We could just march it out like that. Just down in your plank. Working on your movement and your breath. Coming into your power, claiming your power, taking charge of yourself. Who's in charge? Who do I speak to, please? I want to talk to the boss here. I want to talk to management, please. I want to have a conversation with management, please. I want to talk to who's in charge. Let's fire up. Let's fire up. Let's talk to the boss. Let's call on the boss. Let's choose to be the boss. Let's be the boss right here, right now. Let's be the boss. If you need to take a break anytime, you take a break. You pick yourself up again when you pick yourself up again. It's no good. There's no bad about it. We accept where we are, and we talk about where we're going to go. And we put all of our focus and attention towards where we want to go. Not about how bad it is and how hard it is and how much it hurts and how I don't like it or how good I'm not good at it or because of this or because of that. Skip all of that. Let's talk about where we're going and what we want. Let's talk about where we're going and what we want. Next one, I'm going to go down and touch. Come on up. Jumping. Working on your jumps. Working on your jumps. If you can't jump, that's okay. Just working on your squats. If you can jump, awesome. 10 jumps, 15 jumps, 20 jumps, 5 jumps, whatever you like. It's not right or wrong. Excite yourself. Invigorate yourself. Get your body breathing. Become conscious of your breath and what you're saying to yourself. Begin to say nice things to yourself. I am beautiful. I am awesome. I am good. I am enough. I am moving towards my goals. I'm getting stronger every single day. With every single breath I take in, I'm rising up my energy. With every single exhale, I'm allowing my energy to move through my body and life. I am getting healthy, wealthy, and wise this year. Affirmations. This comes from practicing affirmations, speaking things positively to yourself. We have to learn to be nice to ourselves. We have to become our own best friend. We have to develop this type of relationship with ourselves. We're working on a row. If you got a dumbbell, awesome. Right? If you don't have a dumbbell, do it this way. If you got a dumbbell, give it a pull. Let's go for 30 to 50 pulls on one side, working on the arms, working on my lunge, working on my breath. $30 to $50 of those on one side. Same thing on the other side. 30 to 50 of those on the other side. Look at me working out this Sunday morning, getting started with an exercise program. I am good. I am powerful. I can do this. I like this. I can do this. This isn't bad. What's bad about this? This is me just giving love and care to myself. This is me just being kind to myself on Sunday morning. Physically, mentally, And when you do physical and mental training, there's an emotional response. Notice I'm just pivoting. I'm working through my core, balance, strength, rotation, twisting through my middle. Right? A little bit of balance and strength, rotation, dancing. It doesn't have to be a rocket science. It doesn't have to be anything super complicated, right? We need to make ourselves get moving and breathing and become conscious of what it is that we're thinking about right here, right now. We need to set ourselves up for the day in the very best way. Just getting into a flow. Just becoming aware of my breathing. Just stepping into the power that's always here, that's always now. And now is always present with the breath. It's always to come to the breath. What am I thinking about? What am I speaking about right now? One great tool that I love to use is I like to use balance. When you're balanced, you know everything's in alignment, everything's working. You have to stay in your center to balance. So balancing brings you into your center, into your power. Balancing and breathing. Full inhales, full exhales. Three breaths, 5 breaths, 2 breaths, 1 breath. If you have to touch your foot down, you're not good or you're bad. You just do your best. Just do your best. If every day you show up as your best will get better. If you keep practicing your best, if you keep practicing rubbish, you'll continue to get rubbish. Reaching for the floor. It's like sometimes we think we figured out the answer and then we don't need to practice anymore. Oh yeah. I've made that mistake enough times. No, we have to practice every day. You have to practice every day. If you don't practice every day, you'll go right back to how you used to do it. If you don't get up and practice tomorrow, you'll begin to move back to how you used to do it. We always just fall back into how we used to do things. Just working on my hamstring flexibility, just breathing there. We will always return to what we know, what we used to know, how we used to do things. It's just our natural way. So to create a new way of being, you have to rehearse it and rehearse it, rehearse it like a lot. You have to practice it a lot to recreate yourself as you want to be. It's a simple task because this is all it is. It's a mental, physical reprogramming. So it's not complicated. But we need to get into a habit of doing it every day. It needs to become a lifestyle. It needs to become, this is the way that I am. Like, I need to become a new person. Like, sometimes people think, I just want to do a little bit. No, you can't just do a little bit unless you don't really want anything to happen. If you want something to happen, really happen, then you need to commit. You need to jump in a little bit. You need to make a big commitment to yourself. Extending up over my head as high as I can, working on spinal extension there. Adding some more balance here. I got one leg. One leg balance and breath. Same on the other side. 3 to 5 breaths. Working on extension, flexion, stretching through the quad, dancer's pose, balance, strength, extension in the upper body through the spine, balancing and breathing. Just a practice, a morning practice, just beginning your day in the right way. Physically, mentally, verbally, thinking about how we want our life to be. Thinking about what we love the most. Putting my hands beside my instep. Forward lunging. And breathing there. Same thing on the other side. Forward lunging, hands to the instep, stretching and breathing. Down low in my low squat. I like to work on this one all the time. Getting down low, feet flat on the floor as best you can. You want to open up through the hips, through the lower back. You can get that butt down, and we want to try to open up the knees. Nice full inhales and full exhales. Now you may notice as your body's gotten hotter and warmed up that you can take a deeper breath now. You've opened up your core, so there's physical resistance that's blocking your breath. There's even just body temperature, like opening up through your rib cage and your diaphragm and your core muscles. Like you gotta prepare that stuff physically so that you're loose and limber and pain-free and able to take a nice full breath throughout your day. Like you've got to prepare yourself for the day, right? There's a physical preparation that the body needs to start the day. Start the day in your very best way. So stretching through the abdomen, through the lower back, I'm into some extension here. You can have your knees down. You could be down on your elbows. You could be up on those hands. Nice full breaths there. Be gentle with yourself. Be nice to yourself. Be kind. With every inhale, I draw up my energy. With every exhale, I allow my energy to flow freely through my body. This is an intention. This is an image I conjure in my mind. It's in my imagination. It's something I choose to think about. Something I choose to speak about. Some more extension. If you need a little bit of a breather, if you need some flexion, if that back has been extended, we can come back, we can flip that over, work on a flexion there. Coming back up from there, I'm going to get up onto my knees. I can work into my extensions there a little more deeply. I can go one hand back, or I can work on two hands back, whichever you like. Just work at your own pace. Nice full breaths there. Extension invigorates the body. So we want to invigorate the body. Working on some extensions to start our day. Flexion and extension. Dropping down for some flexion on the opposite side here. Coming the other way, letting my spine flex over now. Rather than bending back with the spine, flexing forward. Stretching through the back, stretching through the hamstrings. Being kind to myself. Imagining my energy rise with each inhale. Seeing my energy move through me with every exhale. Imagining my loving energy rising with each inhale. Allowing my loving energy to move through with each exhale. Being kind to myself in my imagination, with my thoughts, with my words, with my physical practice. Being kind to myself, speaking kind to myself. Flipping over here, spinal extension again. Nice big breath up there. And folding over there, getting into the hip, getting into the glutes and the hamstrings there. Nice deep breath. Full inhale, full exhale. Switching sides, other knee comes up between the hands there. Spinal extension. Big inhale and exhale here. And folding over, working into the glutes and the hips. Nice full breaths. Flipping onto my back here. Let's go through the core. Inhale, exhale. Inhale to open, exhale to pull together. If we got to go one leg at a time, no problem. We do it one leg at a time. If you got to do it supported, do it supported. If you can go both legs in, awesome. If you got to put your feet down, take a break anytime, no problem. Do your best. Inhale, be nice to yourself. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, open, exhale, come together. I'm flipping myself over, flexibility and core strength. Step it up, stretch it out. Step it up, stretch it out. If you're feeling inspired, you could add a push-up. You could do some push-ups off of your knees. You could do push-ups off of your toes. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Here I got just a single dumbbell in my hand. I can work on my rows. Or if I don't have a dumbbell, I can just work on my rotation. If you got that dumbbell, you could work on your upper body strength at the same time. It doesn't have to be rocket science. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. It's not what you do, it's what you think about while you're doing it. You want to think about being in your best place. Not being in the place that you're at, not talking about your problem, thinking about where you're going. Getting yourself into your best place in your mind. Bringing yourself into your best mentally, physically. And if we practice mental and physical training, we get an emotional response. The emotions are a result of the physical and mental training that we're doing. If we don't like the way that we're feeling, we need to change the way that we are physically and mentally engaging with our life. Next one here, let's get the heart rate up one more time while I'm up. Let's go for 50 jumping jacks. If we don't like those jumping jacks, we can go low impact jacks. And if we want to change the repetitions, do 10 or 20 or 30 if 50 is too many. Or if you feel inspired and you want to do 100, please do 100. Do what you like. Just getting that heart rate up. Let's get that heart pumping. One more time here. Let's take it up. Coming down here, let's go for a little more core right here. Let's go for 50 to 100 of those. Scissor kicks. Taking a break anytime. Taking a break anytime you need to. And twisting through my hips. I'm gonna go opposite arm and leg, across my body, opening up. Nice full breaths. Same thing on the other side. Sitting myself up from there. I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together. Trying to scooch it into my groin, to my hips. Opening up my knees as best I can. Up nice and tall, chest out, nice deep breaths. With every inhale I take, I draw up my energy. With every exhale I make, I allow my energy to move freely through me. Just imagining my energy coming up with each inhale. Rising up my energy. And with every exhale, allowing my energy to rise and move through. Imagining that with every inhale, I'm growing stronger. With every exhale, I allow myself to become stronger. In my mind, I imagine strength growing inside of me. With each inhale I draw in, I become more healthy. And with every exhale, I imagine health, wealth, joy, happiness, and love growing inside of me. I am growing my health. I am growing my wealth. I am growing my happiness. I am the creator of my life. I take full responsibility for my life. There is no one to blame. All is my choice. I can choose love or fear. It's my choice. I can focus externally or internally. Right now, it's my choice. It's always my choice. I can grow love in my heart right now. I can fill myself with my own love. I can imagine my love growing inside of me. With every inhale I take, I can grow more love. I can rise more love. I can lift more love up inside of me. With every exhale, I can allow my love to penetrate every corner of my physical body and my life. I can speak nicely to my energy, to my passion, to my joy, to my happiness, to myself. I can ask myself to come up and come back into my life. I can invite myself, all of me, to come back into my life. I can call up my fear and my darkness and my worry and my anxiety. I can call up my pain. I can call up anything I'm afraid of, and I can bring it to the light inside of me. I can bring it up into my heart. I can speak it out through my mouth, through my voice. I can take it up into my eye, inside of my mind, and I can allow it to come out the crown of my head and out into my world. This is my choice. This is my power. I can pull up anything from my root and transmute it, lift it up, rise in frequency, lift it up, and allow it to circulate out. I can lift it with my higher energy center. I can take the energy that begins at my root and I can draw it up inside of me with each inhale. And with each exhale, I can allow that energy to flow outward from me, out into my universe. I can share love or I can share fear with my world. And it depends completely upon what I'm thinking about in each moment. I dictate my reality by the things I think, say, and do in each moment. I can say these things to myself. I can choose to believe these things. It's my choice. I can believe in my own power, or I can believe I have no power. That's my choice. I can believe that I am love, that I am made from love. That's my choice. I can grow my love inside of me. That's my choice. Nice full inhale. Nice complete exhale. And that's just a simple physical and mental practice. That's just me being me. It's just me being with myself, being nice to myself to start my day. If anyone wants to share, I would love to hear from you. If anyone has a question, I would love to talk a little bit about food, answer any questions if there are any. If anyone wants to chime in anytime, I'll tell you that my program is physical, it's mental. And, part of the physical aspect of my program is the nutrition, because that's physical training. What we put into our body is something that nourishes us. We can put things into our body from our ears, from our eyes, from our touch. And we can put things into our body from our mouth. What we say over ourselves, to ourselves, and what we eat can nourish us as well too. We can be nourished from the external, or we can be nourished from the internal. And we always have that choice. Now, taking away the food a little bit teaches us to find the power within us. In the absence of food, there is no alternative. You have to find it inside. Did you want to share something, Josie?
First of all, thank you for that practice. My body allowed me to join in with the yoga, and the rest of the time I just spent breathing. I'm beginning a 3-day distilled water fast today. And I've done 3 days before, but as we've discussed, even after, I usually right around 15 hours, hit this, what I've discovered is an energetic block. And so I'm trying not to think about that, but I also kind of have to, I guess, acknowledge that thought. And so I suppose, how do you prepare for these practices? What is it that, aside from what we've talked about, that you would, I guess, practice during this time of internal stillness?
Like if you're talking about the nutritional stillness, I think they parallel. And when we unfood, take some of the food away, we go more to raw foods, juices, lighter things, less digestive, less fleshy things, less material things. As we let go of less material things, we find more of that internal energy. And yes, things can happen, like you can feel that energetic shift, like you say, at 15 hours. So the big thing with, you know, trying to go for a certain amount of time is that we have to commit to the masculine mind. Like it's an intention to say go 3 days. And there's value, a lot of value to developing discipline when you commit to a period of time. When you say, I'm going to go for a day or 2 days or 3 days without food or without water or without fruits or just liquids. If you make a commitment like this and then you follow through with it, then that reinforces your ability and your belief in yourself.
Yeah.
So it's a practice that develops the discipline. So it's awesome to say, I'm going to go 3 days on distilled water, and to make that commitment each day in the morning, and then that decision's just made. So even if I feel a certain way later on in the day, it doesn't matter how I feel.
Because I made the commitment.
You've made the decision. Like there's the two sides of the self, the decision, and then there's the feeling self. Like I feel like this and I feel like that right now. Like I feel like I should, even though I made a decision earlier in the day.
I guess it's breaking, like for me, what I'm in a really strange, it's like I've been raw for 4 or 5 months now. No problem. No cooked food, very minimal, lots of liquid. The last like week, I lost my chi, if you will. It's interesting that you mentioned we always return to what we know, what our practice has been. If we don't take up a new practice, and even in the midst of that new practice, I think that I just went into this numbing state and unconscious, and it's amazing. This has been a new lesson for me, that even when you're eating raw foods, you can still go into a state of unconsciousness while you're eating, with overeating and just not being conscious of the ritual of fueling our spiritual and our physical body. And so as I begin this 3-day fast that I've committed to, I find myself in this shifting pattern of, I guess, maybe I need to become aware of what got me into that unconscious state. I'm not sure, but it's more resistance than I'm used to experiencing whenever I set these intentions for myself, for whatever reason.
It's coming up. So it's coming up. It's already started. It's already coming up. It's the resistance. It's already coming up. It knows it's coming up. It knows it's going to be dealt with. It knows it's coming to the forefront. It knows it's
So
coming.
welcome it.
Yeah.
So
So
welcome it.
that resistance is okay, and step into it. Step into the darkness, into the fear, into the discomfort, into the resistance, into the blockage, into whatever's holding you back. Step into it. It's scary. It's uncertainty. Step into it boldly, like committing to something. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to deal with you as you come up. And I'm going to see you. I'm going to speak to you. I'm going to feel you. And you know what? I'm actually going to accept you. And I'm going to love you. I'm going to learn how to love you. I'm going to learn how to give love to you, to this part of me that's hidden. I just have to speak nicely to myself. Ah, there you are. I see you coming up. I feel you coming up. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I love you. I love you. I want to see you. I want to know you. I want to know about you. I want to know what you have to tell me and teach me. I want to know what I need to learn or change. I want to become aware of it. I want to see you. I want to love you. Being nice to yourself, speaking nicely to yourself, telling yourself I love you. So fasting is a big part of this program, because in the taking away, we build discipline, and when we take away, we have to find within, because it's not coming from the out. So it's in the fast that we learn more intimately and personally about our own energy, our own self. And when we can find peace even in the discomforting thing, even when that thing that feels like an obstacle, it feels dark, or it feels cold, or it feels like I don't want to go there, it's like, can I be happy and peaceful with that? How to be happy and peaceful with that? How to be happy and peaceful with this? How do I feel happy around this? How do I be happy in this situation with these people? How do I find joy here and now? How could I find joy here and now? How could I love you? How can I love you more? How could I show you love more? How could I give more love to you? Just speaking to yourself nicely. This is mindset stuff. This is all mindset stuff, right? It's mindset is the core and the root of this. The physical, the nutrition is a big part. Fasting is a part of this. Raw foods are a part of this. But even raw foods, like you said, no food. It's no food, actually. But
That's where the work happens. That's where the work happens.
it's no food is what it is. But we have to get used to no food by eating raw food. Raw food gets us away from the cooked and processed food. And then we get into our raw food overeating.
Yeah.
And then we have to get rid of that. Me too. Not just you. And I'll join you on a fast, a water fast this week. I'm queued up for that. I'd love to do 3 days or 4 days.
I'm beginning today, and my intention is 3 days. Whenever I come to the end of my intention, I always leave open the option to go longer if I feel called. But right now, my intention is 3 days. As you know, I have 15 days was or 15 hours was my block for a very long time, even as a practicing raw foodist. And so being able to make it past that barrier recently, it's really been deep work. And so 3 days for me getting into that state of ketosis is really important.
So, pushing past the barrier, it could be a barrier with food or fasting. It could be a barrier with exercise. It could be a barrier with breath work. It could be a barrier with cleaning up something in the house. And fasting is the way to kind of push into a barrier, push into a discomfort, push into a challenge, push into an obstacle. It's just a physical practice that teaches us discipline in every single aspect of ourselves and our lives.
John, I was wondering, so I don't have much of a problem intermittent fasting, meaning, I can stay empty till, let's say, 3, 4 in the afternoon. And I feel like I can get through perhaps 24 hours on just some fruit. But in terms of other fluid intake, like water intake, which is probably one of my biggest problems, is no matter how much I may be fasting, drinking water is just, for some reason, I can't bring myself to drink enough water. What do you consider to be a sufficient water intake if I am fasting like that?
2 to 4 liters of distilled water.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to get down 2 to 4 liters of distilled water, especially if we're fasting like that, because there's going to be a lot of detoxification when I'm fasting like that. Detoxification is an elimination of the physical waste, right? So we've got physical waste that's trapped in our bodies. And that's like, it has to be dispelled like through the skin, sweating, through the breath, breathing, and like through pee and poo. Like it needs to be let out of your body. And That's detoxification, and it's the physical release. And there has to be a physical release, and there has to be a mental release, like the thoughts and words that are associated with that physical release. And then there's an emotional release that's associated with that darkness as well too. So there's going to be some sadness, some pain, some trauma, some frustration, some anger that's going to come up as well too. So all of it is discomfort and uncomfortable. But what we need to actually do is to sit in it, not avoid it, but sit in it, feel it, and just be like, it's okay.
I've noticed that the emotional, in response to what you said, the emotional discomfort, it almost provokes a physical discomfort, almost as a way to get you to bend, as a way to get you to soothe or end that feeling, instead of, it's a lot like dealing with parasites. When they realize that you're coming for them, there's kind of like this rear up, they really dig in their feet, so to speak. I feel like our physical and emotional body somewhat works the same. And I've personally encountered a resistance to drinking water whenever I'm fasting. It's been a barrier that I've hit before, where I cannot drink even the purest distilled spring, whatever water, just my body rejects it. And from my personal experience, I look to my bowel. I look into my gut and see what the condition of that space is. If you're really in a dehydrated space, or if you're carrying a lot of excess, or if you are dealing with parasitic situation, or even just an imbalance in the microbiome, in the flora, it can be really hard to regulate that water and that
That's
digestive.
for sure. That's everything you just said is exactly kind of what I'm dealing with. Like I have a lot of Candida in my body, and
I
yeah,
would highly recommend looking at like a fermented tonic, high probiotic. One of my favorite things to do is juice fast with intense digestive enzymes and uh, probiotic regimen, where daily I'm just liquid and I'm pounding these supplements into my gut just to
I
um,
take the probiotics, but what I found, and it could be just because I was taking caprylic acid, I was taking uh, uh, grapeseed oil extract, and um, and then this probiotic, but it was giving me really bad in the morning.
pain.
My stomach was like just
Yeah.
really runny, put it that way. It was really
I
bad.
I think it's more important also what you're not eating. Sometimes a lot of people forget that we have a lining that builds up in our GI tract, and you can be making a lot of really great decisions. And please, like, if you feel differently, John, like, correct me. But if you're not getting some of that lining and that mucus out of your digestive tract, then a lot of your efforts are wasted, in terms of they're just kind of sliding in and out of you, all of
Yep.
those supplements and oils. If you don't start breaking through those barriers, by first choosing what you don't eat, maybe there are certain things that you just don't eat, even on the days that you're not focusing on fasting, things like gluten-like products or dairies, things that create mucus in the body. I've found that with myself and others, that sometimes removing those barriers, and the fasting, the fasting is huge. I mean, even just 12 hours, even just 15 hours, even 24 hours, just giving your digestive tract a break. But the digestive enzymes help with that too. I look at the digestive enzymes almost as like a Drano, like it goes in and just kind of eats away some of that lining and some of that buildup. And so I would consider, where you're at, adding a digestive enzyme to that process, so that you can get better absorption from the uh, probiotics. And I would also look at the probiotics that you're using. I've used a lot of probiotics that are very abrasive and create that type of reaction in my body. And only through trial and error can you find what products work with your pH and your balance best. But um, Paradigm is a product that I've used that is very powerful but gentle on my system.
Paradigm, it's an enzyme, right?
Paradigm is a probiotic and digestive enzyme. If you have something, John, that you like better or that you use,
Like I
I
find when you're going through detox, like sometimes you're going to get runny like that, and I think
it's
that's
true.
part of it.
It's part of it.
I don't really try to cover it up too much.
Yeah.
One product that I really like is like just getting a magnesium bisglycinate.
Yes.
The body did like detox and just help the body to eliminate. Like I use magnesium bisglycinate, and you'd use this and really take the dose up on this really high.
Yeah.
I would use
Like
these
4 tablespoons.
yeah, take it up high, and it really helps your body to eliminate. But this is kind of part of detoxification is like elimination, and it's not all super nice, and it's a bit icky and sticky and wet and whatever. Like it's kind of got some ugliness to it, but it's like I got to get the physical stuff out, and then there's going to be this mental stuff, and then there's going to be this emotional stuff that's going to come with it too.
It's a layering. It's like a layering.
It's all of it combined, and we got to deal with all of it, and it has to come up, and we got to give love to it.
Yeah.
Powerful.
And gratitude. A lot of this was there to protect us. Like we create these shields, sometimes energetically, sometimes physically, with our weight. A lot of times when we have excess weight, it's an energetic shield. And so we have to be thankful, to the reaction that our body and our spirit like does to protect us. And then kind of like what John said, you just say, listen, I recognize where you came from. I know why you're here, or I'm ready to hear why you're here, but you don't have to be here anymore. I don't need you to do that for me anymore. I'm ready to move on.
I let you go. I let you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. In love.
That is beautiful. It's wonderful having a love language like that, and that feels true for me. Like, as you say that, I can feel a truth there. Like, it doesn't feel fraudulent to be able to say that. Like, I have been carrying the weight. I think there's been bloating, quarantine hasn't been good. I've been comfort eating a lot. And then, then you just beat yourself up a bit. But I understand, like, I do have to let it go, and it has to be mindful. It just can't be,
Yes.
I'm following some.
And thankful.
Yeah.
Like thank those like reactions that your body gave for you to eat extra and have maybe some additional comfort. You were taught at some point, you taught yourself, you learned that that's how you had to get through something that was undesirable or challenging or hurtful. But you're now stating to your body, both energetic and physical, that you don't need that anymore and that you're ready to release it, basically. That's power. That's an exciting place to be.
And if
Thank you, Josie. I really appreciate that. Like, your contribution there was impactful. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
and if you're coming off of overeating on COVID, like a lot of people are, there's going to be a lot of detoxification and elimination that's going to have to happen, right?
Oh yeah.
There's going to be some unpleasantness.
Yes.
Which is I should be grateful that's emerging, because it has to work its way through my body.
And that's the shift in perspective that we need to have.
Yes.
It's interesting, the word transcend, right? Like, I think it's almost like people have misused it as like people feel like it's elevating above something or like rising above, when the word trans actually means cross. It means through. It means to go, it's not necessarily over. So to transcend, you quite literally have to let it come through you, and I think that's a key distinction that I have to remember as I go through some of these, less than pleasant, processes.
The way out is through.
Yes.
The way out is through. And when I have these detox healing crises,
Mhm.
oh, what's helpful for me, years ago when I started this journey, I would panic and think, oh, I need a doctor, there's something serious happening, and you have to listen to your body without question. But I would just became very grateful that if it was coming out of my nose or my ears or my mouth or my bowel, like I've been on such a journey with my bowel, and you you see it, you experience it, and it's undesirable, but then you think to yourself, wow, like this is coming out of me, like
Yeah, right,
I want this to come out of me, I'm
right.
calling this out of
So much
me.
you won't believe. There's so much. It's like it's in your lymphatic system. Like your lymphatic
Yeah.
system,
Yeah,
like
it was like all fluid. It was all like me. Like it's bizarre what it was.
miles of this tubes in your body, like miles
Yeah.
and miles of them. Like you can't clean it all out in a weekend detox. Like you
No.
can't clean it all out in a week detox. Like you can't clean it out in 3 months detox. Like
It took longer to get there. It took longer than 2 weeks to get there. It took longer than 3 months to get there. It took longer than 3 years to get there.
old. It's years old. So you can't get
Yeah.
it out. You can't get it out unless you like are actively working on this. And I'm saying like 2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With strong intention.
Yes.
With strong
Like
intention.
7 to 10 is probably better.
Yeah.
I mean,
And being okay with that. Being okay with that.
if you're over 40, if you're over 50, like this is the reality. We're looking at a 7 to 10 year turnaround. But all we
Yeah.
got is time. All
Right.
we got is time. Like if we make a commitment to this, we know in 7 to 10 years, in the next decade, we're going to be in a much better place. Now, if you're under 30, it's not so long. It's not this long. But, you know, if you're over 40 and you've been doing this for 20, 30, 40 years,
Yep.
it's not going to go.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no magic elixir. There's no, there's not no one single affirmation, that
100%.
unto itself.
It's a
It's a
practice.
symphony. It's a symphony of
It's a practice.
intention and attention.
It's a
Yeah.
practice.
Symphony. I love it. Yes. It's a joining together
Right.
of many different practices and modalities.
For sure.
To get this out of you, to get this darkness out of you, this low frequency, this emotion, this thought, this word, and this physical stuff. The waste.
There's this great great adage, saying that, wherever we find ourselves stuck, we're sure to find a dishonesty there. Like just like like something that we're not fully,
Ooh.
allowing ourselves to be present to. And so, and I think like everything that you're saying, like intuitively, like we know it. And so it's wonderful to have some travelers along the way, people
It is.
helping ourselves walk each other home, so to speak, right?
Yes, I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. Thank you for creating and facilitating this space for us, John. It's really very special.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you. So much what I want to see and hear. I love it. I love it. Dennis, I don't know if you'd like to share. You just jumped on. I'm glad you have, sir. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, hi, John. Yeah,
Hi, Dennis.
finally. I apologize for coming on so late, and kind of had a rough night last night. Didn't sleep well, and then I had problems trying to get you on Zoom. But here you are, and for the group, thanks so much for inviting me. And oh wow, I don't know what to say other than you're amazing, my man. I'm really, you're helping me so much right now with the difficulties that I've been going through. So, I really appreciate it. I really enjoy following you. Your videos are very inspiring, and they're huge. They're huge for me. So, yeah, I can't say enough. So
It's like
thank
a
you.
little shot of sunshine, those videos, they pop across the news feed in a dark moment, and you think, oh, I needed that little shot,
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So, and I know, John, you saw my video of me in the pool.
That's so
and
cool, buddy.
You probably tripped, huh? I mentioned your name. I said, this new guy, all of a sudden I found this guy, and it's like, I'm really digging this guy, you know, and what he offers to everybody. And, you know, really, I mean, man, when things get bad, you know, your videos come through, man, and really lighten up my day and just make things more, just stay in that positive moment, you know, as long as I can. So, but I noticed real quick on, you know, I'm really interested in fasting more than anything right now. I've been doing Wim Hof. I've been doing deep breathing and cold therapy now for 2 years, and I'm pretty serious. And it's not for everyone. And you know, now I really, it's clicked. I understand the science behind it and what it has done for me. And it's much easier for me to get into the cold. But I think it's just amazing how powerful it is. Not only the deep breathing part of it, but especially the cold. And I know you did a video just recently, you know, about, and I see you got your ice tub there and everything, you know, about the cold and how uncomfortable it is. And we need to get out of that comfort zone, how important it is, and how much, like right now, I have my heater on and I'm really warm and I can't wait to go outside because it's cold here. Not as cold as where you're at, but it's that feeling of nature, that smell, you know. So there's a lot there to be offered. Okay. But the fasting part real quick is that I noticed you did a video in your kitchen, okay, about fruits and vegetables. And there was quite a long, you know, what you had to say about it below, and I can't find it. I took a cover shot of it so I could come back to it because I wanted to read it. And now I can't. I mean, you have three different things I'm covering you.
Do you have a question about it? I mean, I tell you, it's just my.
Where can I find it?
It's my 4-day detox.
Yeah,
and
right.
You can get it on my website if you like. Please get my 4-day detox on my website. It's my 10-day process, and it's really about fasting. Mm-hmm. And it's about fruit life, and it's about raw foods, and it's about detoxification, and it's about movement, and it's about mindset, and it's about breath work.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And this is how the body heals naturally. The body naturally heals naturally just by taking away the things that we've fallen into an illusion over. We've got into an illusion thinking that this thing makes me happy. This coffee, this food, this alcohol, this person, this habit, this thing that I'm doing, this money, this thing is actually what makes me happy. And what we have to do is break the illusion and find the truth within. And it's just when you go into the cold and you allow the cold water into your body. Now, I know you understand that because you're a cold therapy much more advanced than I am in that.
It took a while, you know.
But you learned it.
Yes. And I don't think I'll ever, it's one of those things now where I don't think I'll ever stop, you know? Yeah, it's one of those things where it's definitely a daily, if it's not a daily routine every other day. Deep breathing is a daily routine for me, you know.
How I feel about fasting. I know that it will never not be a part of my routine.
My lifestyle now. It's the same thing. So you can get that same relationship with fasting that you have with the cold.
Yeah. And it's a very similar concept. It's about embracing the discomfort. It's about embracing the emptiness, the stillness. We receive our messages from source, from God, whatever you're tuned into in the moments of stillness. And I think that it's easy to forget how much noise our digestive tract makes, how much noise our inner system makes whenever it's doing its job of tearing everything apart and extracting nutrients. And so when we extract that nutrients from our breath and our water alone, we give ourselves that stillness internally that we need to receive what we are meant to receive and release what's no longer serving us.
Absolutely. And I think more than anything that I've learned regarding gut health. So how important gut health is. of how many, the percentage of the diseases start in our gut, and how we abuse the stuff that we put in our gut. And that's why, yeah, I've turned away. I'm no longer drinking alcohol. I was just a social drinker, but I have a sleep issue, and I feel like I could be a sleep doctor. Okay, I'm a retired fireman, right? But I know so much about sleep hygiene, and so much how I need to practice it, every evening. And I try. I still have difficulties. So, so anyway, I'm working on my sleep. That's more than anything, but
I was
I'm
an
really
insomniac
interested in.
for 20 years.
Go
I
ahead.
was an insomniac for 20 years, so I completely understand that. And that goes too. That goes away too. The insomnia will go away without medication, without any of it. But fasting, but it's to push into that discomfort. The discomfort of the fast, the discomfort of the cold. The human always trends towards comfort. So
Absolutely, yeah.
you always know that, to find whatever's blocking you, you just have to go into the discomfort. Wherever you feel uncomfort, that's where you need to go. You need to stretch there. You need to walk over there. You need to speak to that person that gives you that resistance, that discomfort. There needs to be something dealt with there.
Absolutely.
So it's to push into that cold. It's to push into that uncomfortable place, and then to find some comfort there.
Absolutely.
Peace.
I think John, I want to say one thing of one of your, maybe clients, one of your close friends that posted something not too long ago, and it says, and I truly believe this. Okay, ask yourself, what remarkably stupid things am I doing on a regular basis to absolutely screw up my life? There's so much truth to that, and it's I keep repeating the same patterns because it's comfortable. It makes me comfortable, so to speak. And I need to get out of that. And I think the cold therapy work that I've done has really helped me to be strong enough to do that. If I could get in an ice bath, and deal with it 3 minutes or whatever, then I feel that I could do, I could do these other things in my life that at this point, I'm 62 years old. Now's the time. Now's the time for me. And, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to push.
Dennis,
But sorry,
go ahead, Josie.
Yeah.
being set free it actually feels incredibly uncomfortable and unsafe in relation to continuing to play out what you've always known. Even if you know that where you're headed, breaking the cycle, breaking the thought pattern, creating something new, even if you know that that will create freedom and bring you into something new, like John said, it's still our natural inclination to lean into what we know. And even though maybe what we know is pain or discomfort or stiffness or something that we're ready to let go of, it's still what we know. It's still that security and that comfort. And so I think it all comes down to pushing into that discomfort. And even if you can't push one step farther, this is something I've had to integrate into my practice of doing this work, is if you can't push into it, just don't pull away from it. Just at least stand there, at least be there, at least show up for that feeling. And
Acceptance. This is the beginning of acceptance.
Yeah.
With it. Like, it's okay that it's there.
Yeah, it's just okay. Maybe I can't even talk to it. Maybe I can't love it right now. I'm just going to acknowledge that it's in the room with me.
Yeah.
We're just going to hang out.
I can stand beside it. Right now, I can stand beside somebody like that. That's where we start, right? That's where we start. Yes.
Yeah, I think, John, I usually don't, tell my story. I've been told, not to bring it up, I got quite a story, but I think more than anything, I have some obstacles. I have some spinal issues and quite severe. I'm very blessed. I count my blessings every day that I can still walk and do some things. But I've had 4 back surgeries, and I have no back pain, which is great. But this goes way back in my 20s, and unfortunately, through my family, we all seem to have that. We call it my last name's Brody. We call it the Brody curse. We all seem to have back issues, hereditary or what. But it's been challenging. And I did martial arts for 30 years, Taekwondo and I really enjoyed it. It was very difficult. I mean, it put a lot of stress on my back. Then 30 years of firefighting too. And I just couldn't get away from the back surgeries. And now it's like, I just had my 4th one 8 months ago, and I'm still having issues sitting with left leg sciatica. But the main thing is my neck is messed up. So it's really, it's very challenging. And there's times when it gets really bad, I go to the pain meds. I go to the opiates. And let me tell you, man, boy, do they take the edge off. But man, I've been doing this for a long time, and I understand opiates very well. But that's been a struggle for me, that's been a real struggle. And it's hard for me to get away from it because of the pain. So that's why I'm trying everything that's out there that I should say is natural to help me more than anything. And the older I get now, I'm 62. So, it's like, hey man, the whole drinking thing, that's kind of like that was a joke. Okay.
I got to tell you about the oils. Have you tried the plant oils?
Yes.
Yeah, those oils. And
that's it. I can tell you that I have an enlarged prostate. Okay, so any of the plant stuff, from THC to CBD, I tried all that. It tends to mess with my prostate, where I'm up quite a bit going to the bathroom. That's another thing that I have to deal with.
Lymphatic. Please excuse if you feel something different, John, but this is screaming lymphatic stagnant lymph system, especially with the pain in your spine. I've had back surgery as well. And
detoxification, it'll clear.
It's detoxification, but specifically in the lymph system, this is a pooling of acid in your joints and in your discs and all of the spaces that are nooks and crannies, and the amount of acid that a lot of men deal with shorter lifespan and pain and stiffness in different ways than women, because you guys use your bodies different and you really activate them, and that creates a lot of acid when you're breaking down muscle and building it back up. And the lifestyle that you've described sounds like a lot of fun, but it sounds like it could be very acid forming if you weren't specifically counteracting that with, raw foodism or with something that's very alkalining to bring you into that balance. And so my recommendation to you would be potentially looking specifically and working with John on detoxifying the lymphatic system. Maybe pick up a rebounder, do some dry brushing, do some self movement with the lymph system, and more importantly, focus on eating foods and nourishing your body with things that encourage that movement. Astringent foods, removing the glues and the foods that create that mucus buildup, as we were talking about earlier.
Cooked and processed fruits, reducing cooked and processed fruits, reducing.
Without question, high heated fats and oils specifically. I had surgery on my lower back about 8-9 months ago. John has been with me kind of on this journey, and it has been a challenge to get moving again. And I know that it's not finished, and they want to tear up my neck and my shoulder and do all kinds of additional surgeries. And
you don't have to.
I'm choosing not to, because I am. I'm healing the root cause of that is my choice instead. And I believe that that's a pooling of acid and a stop of the flow of my spinal fluid. It's gotten stuck in these areas. And so I really encourage you to work with John on raw food and on detoxification, wherever that fits into your life. I love that he doesn't talk about elimination. It's about, really just integration of more good things. And that has been a practice that has worked for me over the last 5-6 years of journeying to cleaning my body out with living food. It's not about focusing on what you're not allowed to eat. It's about focusing on what you are eating and putting so much love and intention into that ritual of
No doubt.
fueling ourselves.
No doubt. I
But
agree.
with the prostate and the spinal pain, to me, that is a seriously stagnant lymph system that is
I
pooled into these spaces.
agree. I get on these kicks where, where I'm eating I'm eating really clean, and then all of a sudden, I have an episode with a sciatic nerve, sitting, whatever, and I go right back into the comfort food.
Yeah.
What will
I
happen?
don't
That's
don't
what happens when we
donuts, I eat donuts.
when,
you
when
know.
Build new neural pathways with comfort food, though. That's something that I've been working really hard on in the last few years, and is really changing that dialogue with your food, in terms of like when you're consuming, like find your favorite foods that are in that. I hate to say healthy versus unhealthy. Everybody has different versions of what that means for them, but change the conversation when you're consuming those foods and really create new neural pathways that those are your comfort foods. Those are the
Yeah,
foods that
I
you're going to
agree.
return to. And it's
Yeah.
deep work. It's so much
Yeah.
of it is mental. So much of it is mental. And
Yeah.
when you're in physical pain, especially structural pain, like your skeleton, like
Yeah.
your spine,
Well, it's
it becomes so overwhelming,
right.
and you can't handle that mental work of like, overcoming the mental portion. You just look for that escape, and you have to be really kind and gentle to yourself whenever you do have those moments of release or going to the painkiller. But get back up. It's not about when you
Absolutely.
fall off the horse, it's when you get
Right.
back on.
Absolutely. And I think, I explained before, and John saw the video, regarding affirmations, and how much when I get weak mentally or physically or both, these affirmations, man, I really do believe in them, and they help me, and they really help me a lot. So, but it's unfortunate that the discomfort, especially with my neck right now. So, radiating down my right arm, and
how do I
you know,
how do I love this? Like when you're in this discomfort and you're
yeah,
sitting with this discomfort, it's like, how do I love this? What do I need to learn? What do I need to know?
mhm,
What are you trying to tell me? How to give you more love? How to take care of you? How to heal you? Show me the way.
yeah. Instead of John, for me to go take a Norco and pop it in my mouth, that's so easy to do, and that whole opiate high thing, and man, it takes the edge off, and but all the other shitty things that little pill does. Is it really worth it? Is it worth the maybe 30 minutes to an hour of relief, and then it comes back? And that's where I refuse to take another one.
And you
Okay,
get
I'm real
the
careful.
digestive response after that, and the blocked your elimination is blocked from that.
Yeah, no doubt.
The shit out of your colon and your
Yeah,
body.
no question about it. And I worry about my immune system. I got to keep it strong for what's going on these days. So,
I
that's
would get into your gut. I would really refurnish the microflora and the microbiome in your gut, because you're stripping it with this
no,
narcotic.
no
And
doubt.
so instead of removing, because it can be really scary or overwhelming to say, I'm not going to do this anymore, I would focus on what you're doing when you're not. And so going to the gut health, immediately screaming at me is remove the refined sugar. Absolutely no refined sugar. If you're being called to remove the alcohol, remove the refined sugar, focus on deep replenishment of that flora and that like inner immune system. Our immune system is in our gut, and so much of that also transmutes to our mental health. And so when you're being guided or pulled to take this numbing agent, you're really numbing, that is what you're really numbing, is that mental part of the work that's happening in your gut. And so I just get a strong feeling and message that you have to work strongly in the gut, refurnishing the gut.
Well, Josie, absolutely. And I think, that's why I'm reaching out to John. And I think, with John, his videos and, John, you know how I came across you, right? Do you remember
No.
how I found you? Through Mark Davies.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, here's another guy. Okay. Here's another guy that blew my mind. And I became pretty close to Mark. But see, we were never able to even do this though. Talk like
With Mark,
this.
I had a chat with Mark too. He's a lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. So I don't want to get in too much about Mark. We talked a little bit about it, with his heavy depression, and it's really a bummer for him, and he refuses to take medication, and which is, I don't know, probably, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing if you have bipolar or you're really messed up, but man, this guy, wow, he just blew my mind on his walks. So you see his video when he does his walks and where he lives. I don't know if you have, but
No.
I mean, the guy, and how I met him, John, was off Wim Hof. So, and I know that you guys had a little bit of a business thing or whatever. And he told me a little bit. He speaks very highly of you, okay? Because he's very super effing negative too when he gets on his rampage, right? Okay. So, and that's a real bummer. I don't see that with you, that's for sure. You stay away from that stuff. You try as much as you can. And I saw your video the other day about your rant. Okay. I could tell you needed to get it out. You were in your backyard or whatever. Okay. Blew my mind, man. I could tell you really opened up, and I think it was good what you had to say about COVID, about these big players that are up there running the world, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's a whole nother story, man. But anyway, I think more than anything, Mark Davies, what a character. Well, he's got such a big heart. The guy is totally amazing. Okay. And on one end, unfortunately, he's got this other side to him, which is, I feel so bad for him.
We all do.
So, yeah. So I think more than anything, I have to run, but I do want to, hook up with you and Josie, right?
Yeah. Send me a friend request.
And you're awesome too, man. Thanks so much, with the input and you guys can see, I mean, there's a lot more to my story and I try really hard, so this is the thing, John, real quick. I've been a personal trainer for 30 years. Okay. So I know the body really well. I've trained many firemen. I worked at a club for a long time, a health club where I live. And, because of, well, anyway, going back to, let me just ask you this. So do you know who Paul Chek is? Have you ever heard of a guy, Paul Chek?
Yep. I know, very well. I know very well. Yes.
Okay. So I have a professional trainer. I don't consider you as a personal trainer. I consider you, of what I've seen and read about you, you are a professional, trainer, coach. All right. There's a difference. All right. I'm just the certified personal trainer, So the thing is, I have a guy, he is a mini Paul Chek that lives close to me. He's been my trainer every Wednesday for 17 years. This guy has pulled my head many times out of my ass. Okay. And he's been really, really good to me. And I'm so lucky to have this guy in my life. We are super close. He's the one that told me, you need to get out of your marriage, you know? And I finally did, and it was the best thing ever. I'm free. Things are so good. You probably saw I have 3 beautiful daughters. I'm so blessed. I have so much in my life, right? So the thing is, yeah, Mini Paul Check, he's incredible, man. You know? So he's really good for me. But I think more than anything, and I'm gonna let you guys go here, is that, yeah, I would like to connect with you, John. Maybe if you could just help me with like Josie, what she's saying about me going more raw food. You know, I got this
He's your
whole thing.
guy.
I got to
He can
get
help
back
you.
into eating meat, you know, and though here I sit there and I eat organic grass-fed meat. Okay.
It's
Still,
all the adrenal stimulation, though. You're trying to get a spark. You're trying to feel better. You're
yeah.
trying to get that energy back. And that energy is only going to come from igniting the internal furnace, which is, from my experience, from John's experience, is removing the obstruction, removing the excess acid, and allowing it to burn off of clean fuel. But understand why you're going to that meat. It's the same reason you go to the opiate. It's the same reason that you go to the sugar, because it gives you a stimulation in an area that is shut off completely. Our adrenal glands shut off around 3-4 years old usually because
Yeah.
of the overstimulation. And so
And here,
um
all the busyness, the fight or flight that we got going
that's
on.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Especially my chronic pain for many years.
Work one-on-one with John. He'll turn your world upside down.
All right. Sounds good. Yep. And when I get on something, just I could be very dedicated.
Awesome. Guys, this has been like a fantastic week. I'm really glad that you guys all joined in. I hope that you'll join in again. I want to do this every Sunday.
I'll be
I
here.
want to do this every Sunday from 11 o'clock start. I like to be done by 1. We went a little extra today. I
Yeah.
didn't
Right. Yeah.
kind of
You
join
know-
later, but I'd like to be done by 1 if we could. And if we could start at 11, and we're just going to talk, and we're just going to breathe, and we're just going to move, and we're just going to share, and we're just going to like love each other, like be accountable to each other and support each other. This is how it happens. This is how we change our lives, right?
Thank
Absolutely.
you, John. Thank you for creating this space for us and
Awesome.
holding space.
So,
Absolutely. It was nice meeting you, Josie, and your knowledge too. You inspire me. So
Thank
so
you.
much.
We're all
Okay.
journeying.
We'll keep in touch then. Okay.
yes, guys.
Yes.
We'll see you all
Okay.
again.
Thank
sounds good,
you.
guys.
Have a
Awesome.
beautiful day.
Bye.
I will.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Take care.